Uradla, what a great property too. We've got some beautiful properties out there. Now we've got Kate Gray, Senior Manager of CBRE, with us in the studio. Now Kate, we haven't got time for emails today, but I do want to ask you one very important question. This week, or I think it was this week, the inner circle planning, inner area planning decisions were made.
Yes.
What's the story?
This has been coming down the pipeline for a while, and it's part of the 30-year plan for higher density living within close proximity to the CBD. So what they're looking at doing is rezoning certain portions of areas, particularly along arterial roads, so that they can have higher height restrictions, and so that they can actually then start doing some mixed use sort of developments. So certainly things like you would see in Melbourne and Sydney now, where you'd see something like ground floor retail and then maybe 2 or 3 levels above that of apartments. Some areas have been rezoned up to 8 stories. Certain areas along Fullerton and Greenhill roads will probably have around 8 stories, but other areas it could be 2 to 5 stories depending on its location. So this is really about encouraging us to use the current infrastructure we have, being able to make it a more walkable city, being able to stop our reliance on cars and maybe use more bike transport into the city, and be able to utilise and make it more vibrant within the close areas within the CBD, within 5 k's of the CBD.
Been a lot of pushback from people, Kate, with regard to those adjoining those new zones?
Certainly, and you can imagine certain people within that live behind these zones that are in historic. Most of them would be zoned into historic regions. Would be worried about overshadowing and overlooking and that sort of thing. And I think each of those have to be addressed as planning permissions come through. It's going to take some time. Usually, a project of any of these sizes would take at least 2 to 3 years to come out of the ground. And by the time you've done planning and then pre-sold some of this, you know, you could be 4 or 5 years before you start seeing any major buildings coming out of the ground. So it is a long-term plan, and it is also dependent on being able to get the land in the first place to be able to do these sorts of developments.
Thanks, Kate. That's been really good.
No worries.
Nice to have you on.
Thank you.
Now let's go to hot properties. Well, that's the end of the show. I hope you loved it and hope you have a really good weekend this weekend. Don't forget all the open inspections. You go to opens.toop.com.au, opens.toop.com.au. All the weekend opens will be there for you. Now next week we're at Springfield and I'm standing on the front lawn at the moment. That is one magical property in the heart of the best, a lifetime opportunity. So we'll see you next Wednesday. Don't forget we're live or interactive at 1 o'clock on TOOP TV. Now let's go to see some hot properties.